Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your one channel for everything VR related. Today, we have a hands-on first impressions look at Sniper Elite VR. I had 30 minutes scheduled with Rebellion at PAX East, and I took full advantage of it, asking them as many questions as possible. So if you're excited for Sniper Elite VR, or you end up enjoying this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, drop some comments, and consider subscribing. Alright guys, let's get into this. Quick reminder, there's a headset giveaway in the comments. So at PAX East, I was playing the PSVR version of Sniper Elite VR, but don't worry, I did ask plenty of PC VR related questions. Now I did run into some controller tracking issues during my demo, and I'm gonna take their word for it that this was lighting interference at PAX East. I can't really comment as to how well the PlayStation aim controller normally tracks because I don't really have experience with one. But my controller did drift a few times and I had to reset it. So my first question was why they went with the PlayStation VR version rather than demoing a PC VR version. And their decision came down completely to just making the gameplay experience easier for first timers. This was actually the first VR experience for many people testing the game, and they felt that the combination of the headset and two controllers was just a little bit too overwhelming, and the PlayStation aim controller is just that much more natural for people to get into. Now the Sniper Elite series has been moved from third person into first person for the VR experience, and this is a single player only title with a linear campaign. They didn't simply rehash one of the older Sniper Elite campaigns, but instead a whole new one was created by the ground up. The storyline was written by Tony Schumacher, a British author known for World War II novels, and the game will take place in Italy of 1943. The game supports both teleportation and free locomotion with snap and smooth turning options. You can physically crouch and even lay on the floor if that's your thing. Seated play and room scale is also supported. Now I had two major concerns going into the demo. One is sniping in VR, and two would be the implementation of their X-ray kill cam. Luckily, both of these concerns were almost immediately alleviated. Sniping can be pretty tough in VR, and that's why many competitive players use a gun stock. The PSVR aim controller is definitely not a gun stock. It does not provide any extra support, but sniping still felt pretty natural. By design, the gun actually floats further out than you would expect it to. Now I'm told this is intentional to make sniping easier, and I tend to believe them. So the gun isn't exactly where you would expect it to be in the VR world. It's not a one-to-one comparison. This does take a few seconds to get used to, but it quickly felt normal. The game does use a breath holding mechanic, so when you press a trigger, you have a few moments in which the gun sway is reduced. In my demo, active reloading was not available, and the gun would simply just automatically reload itself. Now this is an option that you will be able to enable or disable, and personally I like that approach. It creates more mainstream appeal as both casual and hardcore gamers have an option that works for them. Now obviously the game will be a lot easier without having to actively reload, but I couldn't imagine playing a World War II shooter without slapping in a clip and chambering around. The X-ray kill cam that the Sniper Elite series is known for actually works quite well in VR. Generally, you want to avoid moving the player in a VR title, as it can be nausea-inducing, but it looks like with some mild vignetting and fade-in transitions, this kill cam completely works in VR. I felt absolutely zero discomfort when the kill cam was triggered. Now graphically on the other hand, I wasn't that impressed. In my mind's eye, the game looked like Call of Duty 2 to me, but don't worry, it does look better than Call of Duty 2. But I am a bit spoiled, and we do have to factor in the hardware limitations of the PlayStation VR. It is a low resolution headset, and the PlayStation 4 itself is not a very powerful piece of hardware. The PC version will have a much higher resolution, increased frame rate options, more particle and smoke effects, basically all the bells and whistles you would expect in a high-end experience. Now the PlayStation 4 was also occasionally dropping some frames, but I was told that this is primarily caused by the double rendering of the screen. First they render the screen for your first person viewpoint, and they're also constantly re-rendering the screen for the scope. They are currently optimizing the dynamic resolution, so the game doesn't have to waste resources on something you're currently not viewing. The primary PC focus is going to be for the Rift and Vive headsets, which immediately prompted me to question them about Valve Index support. And while they're not currently prioritizing anything like finger tracking, they do want the game to launch with Valve Index controller support. I expressed to them the importance of not overlooking the other headsets available on the market, because it's a great way to turn the community against you. With regards to the Oculus Quest, it really hasn't gone further than discussion. They are interested in doing it, however, they want to nail the PC and PlayStation 4 release before moving on to anything else. And at that point, they will see if they have the resources to port the game over. Now, from a gameplay standpoint, right now I am intrigued, but definitely not blown away. There were a few factors that marred my ability to truly immerse myself in this game. Firstly, I'm accustomed to a Valve Index and a high-end PC. Then there was the ongoing background noise of PAX East, and even though I had a headset on, it would drown out the game a bit. And there were those occasional tracking or performance issues. Ultimately, I just didn't feel like I was present in that VR world. But then again, this is something I experience whenever I use the Oculus Quest, and this is most likely more of a technology issue than an actual game issue. We also can expect this hands-on demo to be the most intense part of the game, because that would overwhelm the majority of new players. In terms of weaponry, you can expect the standard Sniper Elite arsenal, with a multitude of rifles like the Springfield and M1 Garand, some machine guns like the Thompson and the MP40, and I was told there would also be grenades and a rocket launcher. Mission objectives will vary. There are stealth-oriented levels in which you will need to time your shots with other noises, such as firing when a plane flies overhead, in order to avoid detection. I tried to get some additional information such as the overall campaign length, but I couldn't get many specifics. I was left with the impression that this would be close to a typical Sniper Elite game in scope, but I can't confirm that. I also inquired if they are working on a zombie army VR game, but currently they don't have any plans to bring that title into VR. As it stands now, guys, I can't wait to try this game on a high-end PC, dive into that storyline, and more thoroughly test out the shooting mechanics. When it happens, there will definitely be new footage here. Okay guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments. And if you're new here, click the subscribe button and ding that bell. Okay guys, I will see you on next time.